Josh. And also thank you to all the GAs who worked very hard to install the show. It looks amazing. And thanks to everyone else for being here. It's a great crowd, and we're very excited to have a conversation in front of an audience. Not nervous at all.
We are.
So let's get right to it.
Okay.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I know we've talked about this a bit in the past, but I'd love for you to talk a little bit about who the women in your photos and videos are. How well do you know them? Where did they come from? Yeah, we can pick one work.
Yeah.
Start there.
I'll start broad and then
Okay.
kind of like hourglass it in. I feel like I feel like in the beginning, a lot was just kind of born from like a reimagining of myself and kind of wanting to be perceived as hyper feminine and as this kind of cisgendered woman, and that was also at a time where I hadn't started my transition, and being on the street and people looking at me in juxtaposition of my work, the discourse for talking about gender was so binary, especially because we're so like confined by language that every time someone read about my art or like saw something about my work like two-dimensionally without me there to like supervise the conversation, they're like, oh, yeah, his, that's his work, da 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 da, and then they're like, so who are these women he's using? And then they're like, oh, the artist is this, and they're like, wow, what a transformation, like he's become a woman, when really it's like, no, you guys, there's like this whole like in between that is, I'm like trying to navigate through, and I'm trying to like lead the viewer in that navigation. And then so it's kind of been from like how are women used in terms of sex and how are women used in terms of media, and how, I mean, then those two things are so connected.
So the different characters in your films and the photographs, do they begin as some sort of version of yourself, version of Martine, and then they become sort of more archetypal as the work kind of unfolds?
I guess, yeah. Like there's like pop star Martine. It's kind of like how Barbie has all these like extras. Like when we're like, oh yeah, like medical Barbie, Dr. Barbie. And then she's like cheerleader Barbie, and then there's mermaid Barbie, and she's able to be all these things. I am that. Totally.
Yeah.
It's like why separate it when it is my experiences and my own even physicality that's making up how people have always been confused or always been, I don't know, in their confusion, confusing me, and then I have to kind of say, why are people asking me, do you want to be a boy or a girl? Like that was an early question from like my childhood.
But do you still, do you still feel like these are roles that you're playing? I mean, you're not simply playing yourself.
No.
Yeah.
No, but it's like they're taking from women that I've seen and women that we talked about. I'll bring this up.
Yes.
You really want to talk about this?
I love this anecdote.
In confidence, I told you this thing, and now it's your favorite thing you always bring up.
I always do this every time we're recording. Yeah.
No, it's like growing up in Oakland, there was this street, still is a street, where prostitutes would just hang out, and like once it was dusk, they'd come out in like their glorified like mini shirts pulled to be dresses, and like their clear heels, and they were probably, I mean at this point they're probably younger than everyone in this room, but when I was younger looking at them, they were like older, and they had such power and such command over their confidence when they were actually really like cheap. And I was like, look at how these men flock to them, and look at how these men respond to this. Like all these guys, and they're probably all married, are like stopping in their trucks, like getting off from construction, and like she hops in and hops out, and she's making her rent, and I mean they're still there. It's not finished, but I feel like that narrative is so part of the mainstream in a way where we glorify it, and like Pretty Woman or Dance Get the Blue Iguana or Showgirls, where there is this kind of fight for the American dream and for more. But when you want more, you're like selling sex, and you're selling glamour, and like a repurposing of your body within like a finer shell of like surrounded in like diamonds opposed to plastic, and surrounded in fur opposed to like rayon. And that narrative is definitely in like several of these videos, and like definitely one of, I think she's there, one of those narratives in photography.
That's actually one of the things I think I really enjoy about your work is that as much as the work is about sort of glamour and self-fashioning, it's also, all of these narratives are also very aspirational, and they really, I think, draw out the issues of control and power and status that are also subsumed within these different sort of image banks that you use to create these characters. And I was thinking about this today. A lot of these characters, they have no problem being the center of attention. But listening to some of the narration in the Martine series, part 1 through 9, there's a lot of discussion of invisibility and sort of disappearing. And I wonder, there seems to also be this kind of negotiation that you're engaged in between like seeking attention, but then also receiving unwanted attention. And I wonder if you could, I don't know, sort of speak to that a little.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I thought I had some time to think about that.
No, you had such good questions. It's like, it's a mixture, I think, of wanting, I just did this interview with this magazine and I don't know if it will come out, because it was basically like me spilling my guts. And I really don't want the work to be about like transgender issues and to be about transitioning. And I think it's the easiest parallel, because we live in like a cis world. It's the easiest parallel to be like, oh yeah, you want to pass as a woman. And I think that definitely is something, and wanting to like me as a person outside of being an artist, I want to walk down the street and not be like catcalled for, women in general are catcalled anyway, like men just don't get catcalled. But like, I don't want it to be like, oh, faggot, or like queer, or lil bitch. I got lil bitch a few days ago. But the reality is like those same men are the same men that are like slapping my ass and groping me now, and it's only been a year that I've been on hormone therapy, and it's just this extreme like shift in a mental space that happened before this work had already happened. And it's so, I think it speaks to all of that still, which is great. But I think that this was more so, the Martine video, like part 1 through 9, is trying to talk about gender as like an escape and like a fading into like a larger existence that exists outside of the conversation of gender, and outside the binaries, outside of race, outside of like the society putting you in a box and pigeonholing you, as kind of the only way to have individual freedom and to be like a happy, whole person. Like, we're not our genders, we're not our physicalities. Like, we have so much experiences, and yeah.
Yeah. Do you think, have they been good? Should we allow questions? We
Oh,
see
yeah.
if there are any. I know
Sure.
some people haven't had a ton of time to actually see the show, but let's give it a shot. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody in the audience? Don't be shy.
I have a question. I don't know if this is exactly related to the work, but when you were at RISD, you put on these shows, like as a musician, and I was wondering if you still do a lot of those.
I don't. I stopped doing live shows. I feel like it's in part because I realized that it was a lot of work to put all this stuff together and to like put myself out there, and then the like sound system was usually really bad, and like everyone was like really drunk anyway, and then like just the time and effort that I was putting into like being present and rehearsing could go into making a video and could go into this kind of documentation of really pushing aesthetics to make like a world and to make a narrative that's believable and then will exist after all of that time and effort, opposed
You
to like
still
the
make music.
performance. Right, I still make
Yeah.
music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
It's
perform.
got to be like worth your time.
Yeah, and it's like, I think if I had access to like a really beautiful space with a really great sound system, I would definitely do it. And it would be a really great show, hopefully.
If anyone has one of those spaces.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Nine.
9. Yeah, I think, water, spiritually, water is like this rebirth and this kind of, for me, like the feminine power, and like Yemaya being like the ultimate goddess who's like inhabits all water. But on the other side, it's, I think, talking a lot about human travel, human trafficking. No, I mean more so cultivating new lands and just migration. Like, we're all basically immigrants, and what water used to be to us as this kind of horizon line of the next thing. And so this film really ends with that, for me, ends with kind of trying to point the viewer in that direction of that, like, where I have been living in this land that is cultivated, and to escape that, I'm trying to find this kind of, I don't know, Eden or just new, undiscovered, uncharted territory, to be this new, uncharted person. But then in doing that, I'm simultaneously cultivating it, because now I'm this new person who inhabits and is like not supposed to be in this place. And then because I've come there, it's just inevitable that more people will. Kind of like, how do we not spread evil? It becomes like a larger, I guess, question of, we should have stopped taking over the earth long ago. It's too late now.
Anybody else?
I have a question about that.
Oh.
Just, I guess, like your thinking process between like the photographs and the videos, and kind of like looking at the photographs, it all seems like the different Martines are so, obvious in the media, and like you kind of so artfully go into their worlds, and like with the videos, like they are different Martines, but like they kind
It is interesting to see. I've never seen all the videos, music videos, in the same space up before, and it's very, very cool. But it's also, yeah, it does become. They are really of the same world. Like it's, to me, it's the same musician putting out these like EPs or tracks, and these are like the videos for the single. They're not necessarily different pop stars, and I think clubbing is definitely different because it's supposed to be a world and referencing more so the 60s. And I'm playing like different characters simultaneously. I mean, I guess in that one too. But I think it's one of those things where it functions as not like a monotone of the same conversation when you step back to like the whole picture of who's inhabiting this whole gallery space. But it definitely makes me want to continue to make more music, just to diversify what I see on the wall.
So it's like another element, like you don't seem as separate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm not selling music like on iTunes yet. Although I feel like my presence online is super weird because I was telling, I feel like my videos, especially the music videos, which are like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm working on 2 more right now, that they like get absorbed into YouTube and get like snatched up online and then have this like perpetual life that I have no control over, which doesn't quite happen for the other works, especially the 2 larger ones, which really ask the viewer to be patient and to watch and listen, which is not what music video uses as any of their mechanisms to make you watch something. They're like, here's the delivered shot, and it's going to be entertaining, and it's going to be somewhat repetitive, especially in terms of music. I definitely think about the functionality of like a hit song with like an introduction, a pre-chorus, a chorus, introduction, pre-chorus, a chorus, bridge, chorus, chorus. And I mean, I feel like that's, a lot of the songs use that as like a template.
Jackson, did you have a question?
Yeah, my question kind of follows from this discussion, and I was curious about your relationship to technology. It seems to me that a lot of queer, feminist, and trans artists have embraced technology in a lot of interesting ways, both historically and today, but often in a very techno-utopian way, not so critically perhaps. And I think your work kind of resists that. It seems that your aesthetic is a lot more nostalgic, even thinking through, the form of the music video, right? And I'm just curious about this because it seems that a lot of trans artists, especially in the past year or two, have gained a lot of prominence through their different technological approaches. So how does your work engage with these different technologies, perhaps?
Well, I think my nostalgia for music video existed like before Instagram, which made a really big difference. Instagram, I think, has really meddled with a lot, and especially like the self-portrait and this integration of just this vapid reflection of like a different frock in a different lighting situation, which it's like congestive, like cold. I don't know, like tons of. I find it quite frustrating, but like monotonous. But I see maybe it's like an age thing. I don't think of myself as tech savvy at all, and I'm definitely not the person that anyone goes to with like a computer problem. And I've been using like GarageBand from 2009 to make music up until now, so much so that one of the gallery representatives that's here had to help me move like the brain of my dying like 2009 computer into like a 2011 because I had never updated GarageBand, and no other programs really read the amount, the mass amount of music that I have made and haven't finished. And I was like, I have no access to this stuff. And even Apple people were like, I don't even know how to help you. How have you never upgraded your computer since 2009? And how is it still alive? I'm like, I don't know. I care about it deeply. But it's so I can open songs now and continue to make music in this old way that I started doing in high school, but at the same time, I'm not learning a new process, which I should be, to continue to make projects, because this computer is just going to die soon as well.
I think one of the things you said to me in the past is that a lot of these different mediums have just they've been the tool you needed to get the result you wanted.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily I don't know, you sought out to.
Yeah, I was given a video camera in high school too by my father, and I feel it went to Guatemala with us, and it went wherever I was, the camera was, and for a long time, it didn't leave my hand. I mean, I had glasses and acne, and it was kind of I'd much rather look at the other world than me, and then I think I started applying facades to myself gradually, and it wasn't even an influence of Cindy Sherman. It was just an escape, and like I said before, a reimagining. And so I think the technology has served, especially photography, in creating this very specific moment where my posturing and the lighting are all working together to make this mirage. But I'm definitely interested in learning other aspects, and especially working within, I don't even know what it's called, a computer world where you can move this way.
Oh, anyone know that it's CGI or something?
CGI? I don't know.
Avatar.
Not a video game, but within the video.
Yeah, 3D modeling.
Yeah,
kinda?
you're
Oh,
in the space.
Second Life?
I don't know.
Virtual reality. Where's Derek?
Derek! He's talking to someone.
Derek's busy. Okay.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, thinking about social media or actually,
Yeah, what's time?
okay. Well, I can ask. Sure, I'll ask this since I think it sort of ties in. So, Red Woman is kind of a different piece. That's the large projection, almost billboard scale projection over there. And does that sort of tie into selfie culture?
Yes.
And how does that relate to your?
I think it's that, and also just more so online culture, and the streaming of yourself that people do, whether it's a chat room or it's what is that one?
Snapchat? Periscope.
Periscope. And then there's another one, chat roulette. Is that what it was?
Where you could randomly.
Yeah, you randomly, and celebs were always on it, because they could just be
right.
Hey, and then they're gone, and they don't have a username or anything. But that kind of, it's the same thing. You have a window into a setting, and you believe it. You make your own assumptions from it.
So is this film, is it continuous? Is it a continuous shot?
The whole thing was an hour, and then I took mini cuts out of it, so it does loop, but so you can't tell when it loops. It's just a glitch in your feed between this person. But I think it's 45 minutes long.
All right. Well, I think maybe then that's where we'll wrap it up. Cool. But thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah.